Hey, Cmax here. Got another video of a friend of mine's gun. This is another Krusty Clown gun. He had the Thompson Contender, the Ruger 1911 stainless steel Commander, and the Daewoo are all his. Um, what this is Daewoo Dr200. It is a South Korean assault rifle, basically, civilian version. Um, I'm going to take it apart. I do have shooting segment at the end of the video. Uh, Shooting this target, shot pretty tight, as you can see. Just shooting this cheap steel case, WPA, Wolf, whatever. Um, but what we're looking at here is this is a rifle that when the South Korean government's contract to build M16 was coming to an end, they decided, hey, we're going to make our own. And what this actually is in a nutshell, it's kind of a AR or an M16 AK mutant. And I'm going to take it apart because I'm going to clean it for him. And we'll go over that as we see the parts, and you'll see what I'm talking about and why. But I want to go back over some history. Apparently, this was developed up until about 1982. Then finally went into production, from the best information I can find, 1984 to now, if anyone's still making it. This was, they had several versions, okay? They had the K1, K2, which were the real assault rifles that the military used for South Korea, full auto, all that kind of good stuff. Then they had the AR-100, and that's when they started doing the civilian model stuff. Also called the AR-100 is called the Max 2, and then they had the DR-200, and then the DR-300. The AR-100 is a 5.56 by 45 caliber only. So that's the Max 2 and the AR-100. The DR-200 is a 223 Remington. The DR-300 model was actually chambered in the Kami round, which is the 7.62 by 39. Okay, so that's kind of the history of it. My buddy got this in the late 90s. This thing kind of got stopped by our brother Bill Clinton. They originally came with a thumb hole Dragunov style big plastic stock, and I'll put a picture of that up here. Made the gun pretty darn ugly. They had some solid butt stocks that would fold. They had the wires like this one, which makes it look so much better, don't you agree? And this one does not fold, but they did have folder models. I think back when he got this, oh, that was evil if it did that, so you couldn't do it. Also, no bayonet lug. Here's a picture of one with the bayonet lug. And this, is this a flash hider? Is it a compensator? Is it? No, it's nothing. It's fake. It's can. Now, these can be removed, but they are soldered on. So you got to torch it and wrench it and yitty yitty, but you can put a flash hider and all that stuff on it now. This is the way I shot it. I don't want to take this. I just did that for looks. Took this off. It wasn't on there when I got it. This is kind of what it looks like. Obviously, you have the rail here, and I'll put a picture with one up without the rail so you can see. With the rail there, you can see through the Peep Sight, but it's a little awkward, and the Peep Sight hole is actually very small. Now, on the weapon here, the front sight is not adjustable. It is covered and is a post, but there's no adjustment here. The windage adjustment is here. just like the M16, looks identical, and then the elevation here. So you do all the adjustments with the rear side. They also came with grenade launcher. It looks very much like the M203, and I'll put a picture of that here. The Daewoo company the Korean government shut them down in 1999 because they went into financial difficulty for whatever reason. Probably part of it because they couldn't sell them to us anymore. I'm sure it had a lot to do with it. Barrel's a 112-inch twist. So that's pretty much just 55 grain limitation on the amount of twist on it. And let's see, the other changes and everything are pretty much inside. So let me also go over there. You can see there is no cover, no dust cover for it. It does have as people have said, the ping pong paddle release, just like the AR. The safety switch, 180 degrees, awkward, doesn't work real well. And another interesting thing is when the bolt is back, you can't get it to switch for whatever reason. Now, it does break down very similar to AR as far as it does have a hinge pin, so she's going to break apart like that, but there's no pin here like in the AR to pull and let it release. It's done by this hammer button looking thing right here, which is a little awkward. And let's go ahead and start tearing it down, and I'll show you about all that. Okay, this is the takedown. You've got the button here, but then you have a button inside here. Let's see if you can see that without the reflection. There we go. This little slot in between this locks this button, the entire thing, into place. So I'm loose. Now you have to be real careful when you go put it back together, or you'll beat the top of the gun up. So we're going to go ahead and pull out the spring, and let me back out. And as you can see, the spring kind of looks like an AK spring. So that's somewhat different. Okay, like I said, see, she pivots apart just like an AR does. Looks pretty much kind of like an AR down there, but we're going to go through the changes in a second. Let me get these apart. We're going to move this pin because it should just slide out, but this thing hadn't been apart in a long time. So, what again? See? Didn't mess anything up there. So, we're going to rotate it over on this side. Let me get my killer sticker. Thanks, Trees of Blonde. Love this thing, man. And the pin should come out. There we go. And then she separates very much like an AR. So you can see the similarities and the differences. Let's go down here. I've already talked about the selector switch. The trigger felt very much like an AR, but you'll notice there's no buffer tube. And here's the magazine release, which is virtually identical, or excuse me, the bolt carrier release. One thing that is different is That is the extractor. Now, let me come on up here. See if you can see that. It is fixed to the lower. And that gives it a very positive. Let's see if I can. Let's get a good look at that. I have a glare problem, so. Okay. So that is the difference. Magazine, of course, same mag, so the magazine, well, looks very, very similar. All right. So let's talk about the upper a little bit. Here's the other side of it. Oh, one thing that's kind of neat is the serial number. Let's see if you can see that. RA0000016, number 16. That's kind of cool. Like I said, I'm not 100% sure when he got this exactly. I remember shooting it, I don't know, about 20 years ago. But that's when he first got it, and it had that thumbhole stock, and I was like, are you kidding me? What'd you buy this darn thing for? But anyhow, you look up under here, looks very much like a AR bulk carrier, but she comes apart a little bit different. Here you slide it back to this point, then the charging handle comes straight out. At that point, bolt comes back, but look at this. It's got a piston. It doesn't have a gas tube. And look at the piston. That looks like an AK piston. But you can see in the bulk carrier, it fits like this. And the bulk carrier looks like an M16 AR. In fact, it's very similar. You've got your cotter pin. Let's see if I can grab it. Let me go get something to do that with. Here we go. How about this will do it. Toothpick, wood. You know how I feel about wood and gunsmithing. Stuff works great. You don't scratch stuff up. Okay. Comes out just like the AR. Firing pin. Now. Okay. So, very much like a M16 bolt. You'll know there's no gas rings on it. That's because it's the piston driven. Firing pin. Appears to be, and I have to put it up against the AR, but appears to be very similar, if not exactly the same. I do not know if parts are interchangeable. I'm not going to suggest that one way or another, but it wouldn't surprise me a bit, especially on something like that. Let's do the Coda Boy thing. Yeah, straight. But as you can see, let's get this up here so you can see there. Like it's kind of got the M4 feed ramps there. But so with the gas piston, the way the bolt is, you can see why I was saying this is pretty much a M16 AK Mutant. Shot pretty good. I'll have the shooting segment. Wasn't real long distance. It was with the scope on it. But it's hard to capture shooting this kind of gun on video anyway. But I believe that's going to do it. Okay, One thing I also wanted to add and mention is the adjustable gas port here. You see the yellow arrow, that's the way the gun comes. Then you have a low, medium, and off position. And also, if you could see, let me get it in frame. Then you can see there's an arrow right there on the port as well. So you can see there's an arrow there as well. South Korean Daewoo Dr200. Very interesting weapon. I'm going to clean it up now and then show the shooting segment. I want to appreciate you watching. Please like and subscribe. Let's go over the rules. You know them already, but can't say them too many times. Keep your finger off the trigger till you're ready to fire. Always know where your muzzle's pointed. Every gun is always loaded. Thanks a lot. Y'all have a great day. Stay tuned for the shooting. It starts now.